Grand evening, everyone. It is Monday, June 1st, 2026. It is 1800 hours and 5 minutes now, Central Daylight Time, here in the United States, more specifically Texas. And we've had more escalation, more possible disease developments, especially to do with the mosquitoes. We got the hantavirus still out there somewhere. It's not as much in the news now. We certainly can't forget what's even more in the news. Airborne Ebola that is spreading all throughout the world now, that originated somewhere in Africa. I think it was Congo. Though the war has fully resumed, I would say, especially very early this morning, we've had more of a full resumption of the war. So the deal, the negotiations with Israel and Iran have clearly failed, and Israel is really not listening to President Trump anymore. He does not control Israel. It's more of the other way around. They had a very intense conversation, President Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. So it's been very, very intense the last several hours. I wouldn't say just the last several hours, the last few days especially. Though 12 and a little beyond that hours ago, it was extremely intense. Israel was doing strikes on Lebanon, especially Beirut. They've started doing more strikes there. There is no peace and ceasefire going on in the Middle East now. So things are massively escalating historically. Very much so. Let's see, where are we going to start here? Right here would be very relevant. So, Iran recently, they publicly rejected Trump's demands and the U.S. demands. There was no deal reached recently. There is no deal. Many people think there's a deal and negotiations going on. Absolutely not. They fail all of the time as expected. They are not successful when it comes to deals with especially Iran. Iran is not a country that is easy to negotiate with, and it's likely impossible overall. Then we have this here. Google is planning to release 32 million mosquitoes in California and Florida to help stop diseases. I forgot that it was just, I thought it was just California. I guess it's Florida too. They're going to release millions of mosquitoes in California and Florida. They're saying to help stop mosquitoes, though it's likely to spread some kind of disease. It could be for some kind of depopulation plan. That is extremely concerning and very dangerous to do. Hopefully that does not get approved. I think they are waiting for permits and things to be approved to do that insane thing of releasing over 30 million mosquitoes in California and Florida. Likely other states too, and that's where they would start, is California and Florida. Insane development there. Very concerning. People need to be especially careful around mosquitoes now this summer. It is a very common time for them to be out. Be very careful near where they reside. The lakes, parts of the woods. Be very careful around mosquitoes, especially this year. And especially because of what they are doing and what they intend to do with all of those millions of mosquitoes. Very concerning, sick and insane development that is. Be very careful and prepare even to ward off these mosquitoes in any way that you can. They are pests. They are not a good thing at all to begin with, and they've just made them even worse, potentially. This is a massive problem, no two ways about it, when it comes to millions of mosquitoes being released. Then we have this here. Russia's Security Council Deputy Chair Medvedev says the European Union has unilaterally entered into a war with Russia. He also said citizens of EU countries, don't be surprised by anything. The peaceful sleep is over. That's a direct threat from Medvedev. That's a direct threat from a very high position in Russia to the entirety of the EU. So that's most of Europe. It's just about all of Europe has been threatened by Russia. And this guy, who's threatened nuclear war quite a few times, is threatening the entirety of Europe. He is actually saying that the EU has unilaterally entered into a war with Russia. And then we have this here. Tehran, it's also further confirmation of Tehran, which is the capital of Iran. It is further confirmation that Iran is saying no to everything, not accepting any deal. That is the way they are, that Iranian regime. Arguably a terrorist regime. Tehran officially rejected Trump's demands to surrender its enriched uranium stockpiles, which shortly after, especially earlier this morning, there has been massive escalation in the Middle East. There have been back and forth engagements between the U.S. and Iran, also with Israeli strikes on Iranian allies. And then we have this here. President Trump says he believes the U.S. and Iran will come to an agreement to extend the ceasefire and reopen the Strait of Hormuz within a week. And then I said, his pathological lying continues. You can't make this up when it comes to him. That's absolutely correct. He is a pathological liar. He lies continuously. Just about everything he comes out and says to the public is a lie, especially when it comes to this war. He lies time and again to the American public that he has so many times said, oh, I love the Americans and this country and the people. He's in total politician mode when it comes to this war. It's one thing to lie to enemies when it comes to war, though it is entirely another when it comes to your own people as a leader. Absolutely insane from President Trump with saying out in the open a delusion of his that he thinks he can extend the ceasefire and reopen the Strait of Hormuz within a week's time. Crazy delusion there from President Trump. Then we have news of Iranian fighter jets. They are intercepting U.S. refueling planes over the Strait of Hormuz just hours ago. So further escalation, further conflict. There is no deal. There is no peace between the West and the East now. There is no peace between the U.S. and Iran because of their Iranian regime and how they are. Their entire culture, for the most part, is not one to even surrender, and they're very, as for their religion, extremist. It's a massive religious problem, too, when it comes to all of this war, as that is what religion has so often done over the years. So, total escalation is going on now. Then, further evidence of that very thing. Israel is no longer listening to President Trump. Israeli National Security Minister Ben-Gvir says it is time to say no to President Trump. He also said, now is the time to do what is necessary and continue striking Hezbollah. They are now acting fully independently in this war and continuing to escalate and continuing their war on Hezbollah in Lebanon. That's a terrorist group in Lebanon that is heavily supported. It is a proxy of Iran. And they are continuing their strikes now on Iran as well. And the capital of Lebanon, Beirut. I think that is the capital of Lebanon. So that is all happening. They are not listening to President Trump any longer. We also have this here. The IRGC Quds forces, they threaten to shut the Bab el-Mandeb Strait to international shipping. That strait is near Yemen. As you can see on the map here, it's between Yemen and Ethiopia. I don't know if I'm going to try to pronounce where that is, though that's where it is. that strait that is going to also be closed, which I thought it was closed already, though they're threatening to close that strait, and that's the last strait near the Strait of Hormuz. It's on the other side that is going to be closed as well, which will send the price of oil skyrocketing to $200 per barrel shortly after. It was reported by other sources that in the coming weeks, the price of oil is expected to go to $150 or $160 per barrel in the coming weeks alone. That means about I think that's about $5 or $6 a gallon for gas. It will go higher. The war is totally escalating. The price of oil is skyrocketing right now, as even the mainstream, some more mainstream sources are reporting. And the price of gold and silver is also going straight up right now. Gold is at around $4,500 an ounce. Silver is around $75 an ounce. They're both on somewhat of a sale, as gold is down $1,000 from where it was at one point, where it was at $5,500 an ounce. Silver is also rising rapidly. So it is better to get those precious metals and other physical assets when the price is low, as that is like buying them on a sale. The price of gold and silver, if it goes to zero or anywhere near there, which it never will, the lower the price of especially the precious metals, those two, the better to buy them. You could buy more of them. It is not measured by a fiat value. It has intrinsic value of its own. It has its own physical value that it always holds, which is beyond where it is even now, where it is even measured at now by the fiat currency, the US dollar. It is worth far more than even that. I will be continuing to monitor this war, what's going on with the US and Israel, and all that is happening in the Middle Eastern front over there. We cannot forget that Russia, as we've talked about recently, is going to be attacking the Baltic states soon, and that is even more clear by what Dmitry Medvedev said. And they are also fully intending to finish the war in Ukraine and take the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv, soon, first by nearly wiping it out, if not totally, with bombings. And then they have thousands of troops staged on the eastern side of Belarus. They have a lot of other forces on the western side of Belarus getting ready to go into the Baltic states and other parts of Europe. So please keep on preparing physically, mentally, and spiritually. I will be back soon with further news and personal analysis and recommendations. It will likely be Wednesday around 8 p.m. That is 20 hours, 2000 hours in the evening, Central Daylight Time. Please like and comment on this video that is initially a live stream recording that is posted to my YouTube channel and right here on this X profile. You may even donate if you will, if you would like to the link in the description of this video. Though that is entirely optional. I enjoy this very much so, and it is a necessary thing to help people and humanity itself. It is the right thing to do. Love, light, and blessings to you all.